Good morning or good afternoon. Today is TipTop Tuesday. The date is September 5th, 2017, and the topic is heart connection. And so no one's here yet, so I'm going to wait a couple more minutes, see what happens. This topic is very important in that it's very, very important to me, but I think it's very important to other people too. I'm still struck by what's been going on in Texas and how people are helping each other. I'm also struck with the news all over the place. Some of it's good, some of it's not. Hi, Shar! Anyway, I'm talking about heart connection today. And how important that is. Last week, we talked about how the heart chakra, and was in Texas, and how I showed people how to open your hearts up and push it out, open its heart and push it out, and then bring that love back in too. Because we as a group, anyone who listens to this, will be connecting in on a heartful level. This is some of the work. It feels like it's important that we stay heart-centered. So, what else? What else is that? I'm thinking a lot about when do we end up not being heart-centered? We end up being heart-centered when we start objectifying things, us versus them. A lot of people don't really connect us versus them. They hear things about other groups. One of my favorite stories is when I used to work. I worked in lots of different environments, lots of different cultural groups, lots of different social classes. Some people thought they were social climbers, some people thought they weren't, blah, blah, blah. But the most important thing is I have found that when people often are loud and obnoxious, they are loud and obnoxious. And no group signifies, like no one group is loud and obnoxious. You're going to find loud and obnoxious people in all worlds. You're going to find them in artists. You're going to find them in engineers. You're going to find them in different races. And what are they? They're just loud and obnoxious people. I still remember I still smile when I remember this woman who comes from quite a stately background, very polished, very posh, has impeccable manners. And I was telling her how some people thought that rich people were all pushy and that they were loud and obnoxious. And I hadn't expected this because remember, she's got quite like a Queen Elizabeth. Her mouth dropped open, like, I don't know people like that. And I'm laughing to myself, well, of course not. You avoid people like that. But when people are out in public, the first thing they'll see is loud and obnoxious, and then they check what they are, right? And then those people are like that, click. So that's an example of objectifying. I have also been thinking a lot about racism. And I grew up with some prejudice towards Catholics, and certainly we had some prejudice towards some Protestant groups. I can't really even remember who they are anymore. So I recognized that people had strong ideas about things, but they weren't necessarily based on any information about the religion or whatever. They didn't know, they just had ideas. And I see that so much right now with people pointing fingers at each other. So I started thinking about that, and I'm just going to use racism as an example because racism is easier. Lots of people don't consider themselves racist, and the reason they don't consider themselves racist is because they have friends that belong to different races. So they will say, I'm not racist because, and they'll use an example. What they're demonstrating is on a heart-to-heart relationship, they are not racist. Absolutely true. Most people, if you get to know them, no matter who they are, on a heart-to-heart level, if you really are in the trenches with them, you have a love relationship. That can be confused with what objectifying people are. When you objectify something and make an overall view of something, such as Black people are not as smart or something like that, you're not basing it on the people you know. You're basing it on some kind of things or words you've heard from somebody else that you think is true. So when it becomes an intellectual discussion about a group, and we have lots of discussions right now in the United States, the big hot topic is the dreamers. And I'm sure both sides are right. But the bottom line is, if we go in our hearts, we are concerned about those people. We're concerned about the dreamers. Even if the people that feel self-righteous that they should go home, that's not the point. The point of it is that they recognize on some level. When people start making people numbers, that's objectifying. When people start looking at the statistics, that's objectifying. And we all do it. It's part of how we are trained. We're trained out of our hearts into our thinking. Think and do, right? Isn't that the way school taught us? What I want us to do, and also, and I know a lot of us feel this way too, sometimes when we get really angry at people, another group, not ourselves, of course, because we're so cool, we are actually we're too afraid to look at our own feelings. And we might have some anger, resentment, self-doubt, self-esteem issues, childhood issues, those good old childhood issues, of something that we don't want to look at. Right now, between the eclipse and the full moon that's coming, people have been in this roller coaster. Lots of tears, lots of emotion, lots of strong catastrophes, if we're one of personal catastrophes. It's very important during this time. And the other good news is the energy is here to help clear it. Yeah. So really, all we really have to do is sit with it, whatever it is. Something happened when you were 10. Breathe into it and release it. There's other techniques too, like EFT, but also just being heart-centered and being in the moment, breathing that in. Feelings are not bottomless. And I know many of us have gone to counseling and have dealt with that. But this time period right now is a great time to really dig deep, get those roots out of there that you thought you had pulled out and move forward in love. The more we get rid of our own angst about ourselves, the more we have less angst about others. The more we focus on our own goodness, the less we have to worry about others. The more we open our hearts to service, the happier we are. It's the nature of the human being. And we are all peaceers. We are the embodiment of peace and love. And that's the good news. And I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else to say. Oh, Damon, hi. And Marty's here too. Hi. Hi, you guys. Anyway, if you have any questions, that'd be grand. Hi, Carolyn. Did I say hi to you? I think I did. Oh, Carla's here too. Anyway, so that's kind of it, my message today. And also, let's practice that. Let's practice. I'm going to back up so we can see this. We already know last week when I moved the computer, that wasn't such a good plan. I disconnected everybody. So we go into our hearts. This is our heart chakra. We push out. Back in, push out. We get a rhythm going, the heartbeat. Connecting all, releasing. Connecting all, releasing. And as we're connecting up, we can see the connectiveness through the heart of all of us. We can feel the connectiveness of people, of animals, and dogs have been our best teachers of late. They are help us stay so connected in our heart. And that's the good news too. Okay. Thanks for being here. Take care, and see you sometime soon. Oh, and I have a book. My book is called Earth Whispers, The White Chick from Tacoma. And in this story is how I worked with a Nepal woman in helping with the earthquakes and stopping the earthquake in Nepal by clearing out the heavy junk. So there you go. Okay, take care.